I recently did a debate on modern day debate about gender. I was arguing that there are more than two genders, and I would consider myself a centrist.
I,
I'm 20.
gee, okay, that was like 12 red flags all in a row, but okay. Okay.
I
Boom,
got
boom.
I got lots more.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, you a psychology major too, or what?
Oh no, I didn't even graduate high school, so.
Jesus Christ. All right. Okay. So initially, modern day debate guy James, good friend of Subway, reached out and said that he wanted you and me to do a duo debate against two other people, arguing that Steven Crowder was not abusive at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't agree with that.
Sure.
I think I think there are definitely signs of abuse at the very least in that
Okay.
video, and you seem to disagree. So, and you wanted to hop on and chat about it.
Yeah, I totally disagree with you. I think, if anything, Hillary is the abusive one, but I don't see any signs of abuse at all.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Yeah, where do you want to start?
We can. Okay, so
Or
I have
actually,
a whiteboard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say before. Do you want to just watch the video from start to finish, and then I can write down things that I think are abusive, and then you can be refreshed on it, and then we can jump into the conversation?
Sure, we can do that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna link you the video, and we can just like push play at the same time or some shit. All right.
Okay.
Here's this. Also, wait, can you turn the blur on again? I just want people to see how ridiculous your background looks.
Sure. You know, I did have a guy come on my stream once, and he said he thought I was literally an AI creation, so I can understand.
That's kind of what
people
it
seem
seemed
to think it.
This
Yeah,
is
there we
okay.
go.
This looks ridiculous. It looks like you've green screened in like a whole like this is the worst thing I've ever seen in the world. But okay.
Have you never used the blur filter on Discord?
No, I'm a man and we don't filter our pictures. Okay, we present reality to people. So all right, okay, turn it back, turn it off.
Okay.
Oh, it's standard office blur. I don't even know what that means. Okay.
Running me around first time on your stream. Okay.
True. It's how I get it's called frame control. Okay, I linked you the Substack. Let me know once you've got it clicked, and then we'll start going through it. Okay.
Okay. All right, I got it.
Okay, I'm gonna push play in 3, 2, 1, go.
I drew a boundary. I drew a boundary. No, you just did it. I drew a boundary of abusive and cruel. You were not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries.
There is no groceries. I would have to.
Steaks, wood pellets, my grill. I know it's an unreasonable request, but I'll go do it. How about you first? Hillary, how do you respect the man? Yes. How do you man? How do you man receive love and respect?
Respect.
No. How do you man? No, you're not taking the car.
Steven,
You're not taking the car.
Steven,
You are not
then
taking
I
the
will
car.
ask someone to pick me up. Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
It's not correct, Steven.
Get an Uber.
Okay, Steven, I can't.
Feeling some constraints?
Steven.
Like, I can't
Steven.
go. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're going to take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either.
Steven,
Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you going, I'll be back when I'm back?
Steven,
And then you do that. The only way out of this is discipline and respect. It's the only way out of it, or we're at an impasse.
we are at an impasse.
Good. Because you can't have any discipline or respect.
Steven,
Yeah. There you go. You throw your hand, you give up so easily.
I don't give up, Steven.
Hillary,
Steven?
you give up so easily.
I'm-
I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Steven, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Steven, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Fucking watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space. We need to just stop engaging for a little bit, okay? I love you. I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem. I've never received love from you. And the fact is, when I go, look, I need you to do A, B, C, and D, you just be disciplined about it, you go, no. But I love you more than life itself. Okay. Put on some gloves. No. But I love you more than life itself. That's not fair. That's not fair, and it's disingenuous. Hillary, you're right, we're at an impasse. Become someone, listen to me, day in and day out, worthy of a wife No, not as a wife. I didn't say as a wife.
As a
I said as a wife. Hillary, come on now.
I'm not gonna engage. I'm not gonna engage anymore. I'm gonna go. I'll text me what you need. I'll get you what you need. I love you. I'm committed to you.
Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm not gonna.
Are you committed enough to do those things? You're not committed to anything. You're not committed to anything. You just said I love you. I'm committed to you. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm gonna just
Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to get the medication the dogs? No, you take Betty.
Okay. All right. Wow. You're really fighting an uphill battle here, huh?
Do you want to see my schizo document? I got a ton of things to say. Okay.
Oh, you got schizo documents. Yeah, show me. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it.
Watch it.
Fucking watch it.
I
Okay.
don't love you.
Here.
Good.
You're unworthy.
I am.
Take an Uber.
Yeah,
Get
go
away.
take an Uber, okay?
Get out of here. Watch it.
Okay, will do.
Watch it.
Okay, oh my god, we got a whole document. Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Sure.
Okay. So first of all, this starts off from they were talking before this, right?
True.
This is obviously in the middle of something. Okay.
Yep.
This conversation is not about her getting groceries, and it's not about her taking the car. This is this is possibly the last conversation they had before she left him. Everybody misses the context of that. This is potentially the last conversation they had before she left him. At the end of the video, it said she fled the home, right? Then a couple months later, she divorced him. Plus, there's tons of things within the video that imply that this is her walking out on him. He says, you want to walk out right now? That isn't something you say to somebody when they're just going to get groceries. She says, I need some space. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't say that, I need time and space. You don't say that when you're going to get groceries. She is walking out on him, and he's frustrated because he's saying, you're not committed. You give up so easily, Hillary. And she's saying, I need to go. I'll be back when I'm back. How is that him abusing her? This is her leaving him a couple days before he has chest surgery.
Okay, true.
Okay, so where do you see abuse in this? It says she fled the home. She left him after this.
Okay. Oh man. Okay. Have you ever had a serious relationship before? Just checking real quick.
Nope.
Man, you're really testing. Okay, you're really testing me.
okay,
Okay, no, that's
okay,
okay. No, that's okay. Hold on, that wasn't to discredit you. I'm sorry. It helps me navigate the conversation a little bit better. Okay, that's fine though. Okay, all right.
My parents have been through something very similar to this, so I do have that. But I understand it's
Base.
biased or whatever.
Okay. I wrote down 19 little quotes and things, and I'll just kind of like talk through things. But before we get to that, let's get a common definition of like, what does abusive mean?
I would say abusive is abuse, so misusing the other person, using them in a way that isn't respectful of them as a person, like using them to feel better about yourself, treating them poorly. I don't know, I'm misusing another person.
Okay, I can work with this. This I think is an okay definition. I might be a little bit more strict in some cases, but sure, we can say that here. So
Okay.
Let me talk about this. Broadly speaking, we would say that misusing, not being respectful of another person or treating them incredibly poorly, misusing them, stuff like that, right?
Sure, yes.
Okay. So I wrote down 19 quotes and things that he's doing a lot that I feel like are probably disrespectful and not healthy towards seeking some sort of like good resolution. Okay, ready? Okay. So the first thing we run into is there's a lot of interrupting. Okay, the general tone of the conversation is very aggressive from Steven Crowder's side. Okay, would you agree
Okay.
with that?
I would say he's frustrated and she's disengaged, and being disengaged is a form of abuse.
I can agree with you, but it seems like she's answering most of his questions. She's relatively engaged. I don't necessarily see the disengagement. Also, while I agree with you that disengagement can be a form of abuse, it can also be a a form of conflict resolution to where, like, right now we're both heated. I need to take a step back because this isn't going to be productive, right? Could be.
It could be, yes. But I think in this situation, that's just from me, I don't think he's being abusive, so I think she's just disengaging because she's overwhelmed. And I am sympathetic with her, but I do think she's just disengaging instead of engaging with his frustrations, honestly.
Sure, potentially, okay. So I'm keeping potential pathways open because, yeah, there's a lot of potentialities, okay? I think that when you're in the middle of a fight and you're having a disagreement over responsibilities, using really loaded terms to demean your partner or make them seem like they're not worthy of love or status is kind of an abusive thing. So when I say things like, oh, you're not going to do your wifely things, wifely things seems like you're treating them with a lot of disrespect. Like, you can't even do your wifely things. Why don't you? That's one thing that a quote they wrote in. And then later on, I think he says, you need to become someone worthy of being a wife. Those are pretty rough.
I think that absolutely is not only not disrespectful, it's incredibly respectful. He's saying, I hold you as a person to a higher standard. They're both Christian, right? They both agreed to having a traditional marriage. He's saying, you agreed to do these things, you're not doing them. I respect you enough to say, you can do better than this. That's extremely respectful. Sure, if you say it in a frustrated way because you're frustrated with their failures, okay, but like, that's okay for a man to express frustration too. Just because a man's frustrated or even angry doesn't mean he's abusive.
So I'm not saying that just because he's angry or frustrated means he's abusive. Okay, I love getting angry and frustrated. But there's a difference between saying, like, listen, you're my wife. I know you can do better than this. That's a lot different than saying, like, why don't you become somebody worthy of being a wife? Become somebody worthy of being respectful. The first one is said with an obvious shared hope of this person living up to your expectations. The second one kind of sounds like a condescending, stinging bite that you're just, like, throwing out there to kind of, like, knock the person down a peg or two.
Well, I'm not saying he's perfect, okay, but I think in response to that, I would say he's getting frustrated because she's disengaging and her being manipulative and saying, I love you, but Steven, I'm not doing this right now. That is manipulative. That is also expressing anger. It's just in a feminine way. And also, this is not about minor responsibilities. This is about whether she's going to walk out on him at his weakest point right before he's getting chest surgery and before their twins are about to be born. It's not about the car or the groceries.
Okay, well, I'm not necessarily even making this about the car or the groceries. I'm just trying to peel through one of these at a time. So when you say, I love you, that's manipulative. It could be manipulative. That could be escalatory or de-escalatory. I don't think we have enough information to clearly say.
She walked out on the guy and divorced him a couple months later, and she says, I love you and I'm committed to you. That's a lie. That's a lie.
But we don't know. We don't know why they got divorced. We don't know what happened or what caused it. It might have been the fact that she was leaning towards it, but finding out that he got a divorce lawyer was what drove her. Was she like, well, fuck, if you're getting a lawyer, like, I'm obviously going to get divorced, right?
Okay, but even if that was true, right? Supposedly he hired this lawyer after this video, right? It wasn't before June of 2021, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so even if that was true, first of all, just because he spoke, there's no such thing as a divorce attorney. There's people who are specialized in family law, and obviously people who specialize in divorce. But there's no such in her family statement. I mean, you can't even.
Wait,
take
wouldn't
her
that be
family
a
statement
divorce
seriously.
attorney? What do you mean?
Well, they're not called divorce attorneys. They just specialize in family law, and they specialize in a range of fields.
Sure, it's a divorce attorney. I have a defamation lawyer. It's not like they specialize or they're called that, but it's a lawyer that has specialties that works certain cases, right? You have a divorce attorney, probably somebody that works in family law, and probably somebody that specializes in dealing with divorces, probably even from the male side, right? You call him a divorce attorney. I think that's fine.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but first of all, from her family statement, first of all, who is this family? Somebody should be held to account for making these allegations, such as that he cut her off financially when there's no backup for that.
True. Who
is this family?
To be clear,
it's just
though,
her.
article, that's different. Those are different things. I'm just dealing with the claims in the video, just what we're going in the video line by line. So you said, I love you.
Well, but you said the divorce lawyer thing.
Well, no, I'm just focusing on this one statement. I love you, that's manipulative. I don't think saying I love you is necessarily manipulative. It can be manipulative, or it could be de-escalatory, right? So, for instance, you can be in the middle of a fight with somebody, and there are ways that you can, like, weaponize "I love you," right? To where, like, you do something really fucked up, and you're like, "Why are you being like this? Like, I love you. Like, come on. Like, I love you. Like, don't blah blah blah." Or, you can use it reasonably to de-escalate a fight. Like, listen, we're fighting right now. This is really heated. I still love you, but I need space, right? It could be either. I don't know if there's enough context in this video to clearly say it's one or the other. You know, I think "I love you" can be escalatory or de-escalatory. I don't think we know enough in the video. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, but she says, I love you and I'm committed to you twice. And then she flees, from her own words, she flees the house and divorces him a couple months later when she is, like, after she gives birth to his twins and after he has massive surgery, which her family nastily characterized as him choosing not to be there for the birth of his kids. That was not true at all. He had lung complications after the surgery. It was elective surgery. The only difference between elective surgery and emergency surgery is that elective is scheduled. It doesn't mean you don't need it. Gastric
I
bypass
understand.
is an elective surgery.
I understand all of this, but that's not relevant to the video we're watching, right? There could be any number of reasons why they got divorced after. Maybe, and also, hold on, step by step. She says that she's taking space after this when she leaves. Is there something wrong with taking space?
She didn't take space. She left and divorced him.
Wait. It's not like she left and then like divorced him right then. Like she left and then went to LegalZoom.com and filed the paperwork, right? We don't know what's happening between now and...
A couple months later.
Okay, that's a long time to hold your breath, okay? A couple months, that's a lot.
Yeah, but she also saved this footage, though, from the Ring camera, right? She saved it, right?
Sure.
So she must have saved it within a month of it happening, right? Because... Okay, so how is that being committed to somebody when you're saving footage to use against them only a month after an argument happens, to use against them in a divorce?
It could be for a lot of different reasons. They could automatically back up the footage because they're celebrities, maybe. Or she could be worried that she's on the verge of giving birth to children and she's worried that some sort of divorce or whatever is going to leave her financially fucked because now, for whatever reason, her husband could claim something, she doesn't get child support. So now she needs some footage for like a divorce, even though I think it's a no-fault state. There could be a million reasons why they saved the footage. I'm not here to I don't know if I can know. I don't know if you can know, right? There's a million reasons why that footage could have been saved, but we have no idea, right?
Well, I mean, clearly she saved it. It's not, Steven didn't leak that, right? So clearly she saved it.
We don't know that. Why do you say clear? How do you know they both didn't save it? How do you know they both don't have copies of this?
Well,
or even they could literally have saved this to like go over with the therapist, right? They might save all their footage from here and they back it up because like when we go to therapist, we can show this fight and we can see like, you know, maybe there's a different way we could approach this or who's more, you know, needs to figure out how to navigate this disagreement.
I mean, they could, but that seems highly unlikely, especially because it was leaked to Yashar Ali. Do you know who Yashar Ali is?
I know
that
he wasn't.
Do you know his credentials as a journalist?
Yeah, he's a gossip journalist, but he's not in this video. I'm not talking about the article.
I'm saying if you take it in context, she's leaking this
I agree.
This information to a scumbag who he owes women like hundreds of thousands of dollars. He doesn't pay them back. He lived with Kathy Griffin. And you know, he used
gossip
her
tabloid
and she didn't feel
person.
comfortable.
Absolutely.
Right. So she's leaking it. Doesn't that explain the context of her actions somewhat? To say like, yeah, she says I love you and I'm committed to you. Then she hangs on to this footage. 2 years later, she's exposing him with this footage she shaved to a scumbag journalist. Doesn't that mean anything? Doesn't that back up that he's saying you haven't proven your love through your actions?
She could leak this to fucking Hitler's autobiographer, and this could be like the opening chapter of Mein Kampf version 2, and it wouldn't change necessarily what we're seeing in the video, right? Like, I think I think there are things that could change the way that I view Crowder here, where it's like, oh, I understand why he's doing this, but I think that the behavior here is still like pretty clearly abusive, and I still think we have to deal with the actual statements that are said in the video, right? So, like, we don't know why they got divorced. We actually have no idea, right? We know that they got divorced a few months after this fight, but they could have fought after this. They could have gotten back to the house and made up after this, right? We have no idea, right?
Well, she is clearly saying they're divorcing because he's emotionally abusive, right? That's her claim.
Is it?
Well, that's her family's claim. Whoever her family is, I think it's just her.
I think they specified that there was no physical abuse. I think that's what they said. I don't know if an explicit reason was given for the breakup, but even if there was, we don't know if it was because of this video, right? Like, what if it was that there was another video that gets released and Steven Crowder is like, I hate you stupid cunt. I hope you die when you give birth to your twins. Fuck you, bitch. Right? Then we'd probably like, okay, yeah, I understand why she wants to get divorced, right? But we don't know. We don't have the context, right?
Well, but okay, first of all, she saved this video. It's her video because at the end, right, she says, Steven Crowder, by his own admission, said, I'll fuck you up, right? She said that at the end, right? There's a little text box. Who would know that he said that other than her? It was just them in the house, right? And he hasn't admitted that publicly. So who would know that other than her and him? And he certainly didn't edit that video. So who put that in there? Her. It's her video.
Yeah, but
right?
This might be evidence that they're using in court right now, right? And maybe that's what's submitted to whatever court they're fighting in, right?
Right, but you were saying you don't know if it's her video or his video or whoever. Who
No.
leaked it.
Hold on.
It's
What I said
definitely her.
initially was I don't know who records stuff. They could. You have to admit they could both be recording, right?
Well, yeah, they could, but she leaked it and it's her video with her editing, with information only she would know.
I agree with that. I don't disagree with that. But that doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean that it's not an example of him being abusive, right?
Well, but also you said you don't know what happened after this video. We do know. She says, by her own admission, she fled the home, and then he went in a couple days later for massive chest surgery.
Yeah, but I'm
We
saying
do
we
know
don't
what
know if
happened.
this was like the last fight they had before they got divorced. We don't know if this is the reason for their divorce.
Well, even within her own statement, they say he chose not to be there for the birth of his kids shortly after he bought a townhouse and gave her back the house.
Sure.
So we basically know what happened. They essentially separated. This was very likely their last conversation. If there was something
we don't
after
have,
this.
hold on. We have no idea. We have no way of knowing that. Right?
Well, if it wasn't the last, it was leading up to the very last. And she did say herself, she fled the house after this. That means you're not coming back.
We don't know
could
that.
mean
It might have been.
It could, but could.
Hold on. So
could
right now,
mean
are
you're
you
not
prepared to say
coming back.
100% she never went back to the house while he was there?
No, I'm not. But he went in for surgery. She fled the home. Then after this, then she gave birth, and he had lung complications. Then he bought a townhouse, and she moved into their old house. I'm just saying it's very likely that this was their last conversation.
Okay. Maybe it was. You don't know that. Neither of us know that. However, even if that was the case, it doesn't change the fact that the behavior in this video might be abusive from Steven Crowder.
Okay, so which part of it did you say? You said was abusive, that he is saying
Hold on, a
that
ton
he
of things.
wants
So
to
I
hold
think
her to a higher standard?
The aggressive and interrupting tone, the condescending way of saying you're not doing wifely things, the very standoffish attitude he has, you're not taking the car, rather than like, can we try to work on a different solution here? When she offers another potential, like, well, do I want to call a friend? Who should I call? And he's like, is that a threat? Get an Uber, right? Instead of working towards a common solution there. Instead of acknowledging her pain or whatever, being like, feeling some constraints? This is what my life is like, right? Like being very aggressive in here. You can interrupt me whenever time. I was like listening up stuff I've written down.
Sure.
Think of how boxed in you've made me, right? The constant like refocusing on himself, not taking into account his wife's problems or how boxed in she might feel, being literally fucking double pregnant. Not ever wanting
Yes,
to
but-
yeah, go on.
But he also says, so you're just going to leave me here a couple days before his surgery, right? So that he is arguing with her. He's trying to get her to stay. He's saying, come on, Hillary, you give up so easily. We can work this out. I don't know if he exactly said that, but he said, what did he say? You give up the ghost so easily or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? He's saying, you're leaving me a couple days before my surgery. And she was escalating. You say that he's aggressive. Okay. But she also is just saying, Steven, I'm not doing this. I'm taking the car. That's not aggressive. She keeps moving towards the door and just saying, I'm leaving. I need some space. I'm not doing this with you right now. She's not asserting dominance over the conversation and saying, actually, I'm not engaging with you. We're not going to talk it out. He clearly wants to talk it out. She keeps moving to the door, and then she says herself, she fled the home. Why would she say she fled the home
Wait.
if she came back a little while later?
Sure.
She
Wait. Hold on.
left.
I gotta change my audio real quick. Hold on one sec. Something's weird. Okay, hold on, real quick. If I've got mods on DGG or YouTube, can you literally permanently ban any fucking dipshit fuck retard that thinks that I'm flipping sides on this issue? I'm not flipping at all. If you think so, you're literally too fucking stupid to even watch my videos. Please fuck off forever and into all eternity. Holy shit, how fucking stupid are you? Sorry, hi, I'm back. Okay. 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 So there can be a dynamic where you've got somebody fleeing a situation in an escalatory way, right? So somebody wants to resolve a problem. You're like, I don't want to deal with this right now. I'm leaving. Okay, bye. And they have like a very avoidant personality. That is possible. However, it's also possible that she's pulling back because she knows that they're not going to make any progress in this particular argument and she needs space. It's okay for her to say that, right? If she literally is stressed to the limit here, and there's a lot of reasons for her to be, and she feels like she needs space from him, I think it's totally fair for her to want to take space. I don't think that's necessarily abusive. We need more information to say that.
I'm sorry, I'm being so aggressive, but you fail to see that she was leaving. It's not about taking space. She fled the home.
What do you
and
think
then
taking
she
space
divorced
means?
him. That's taking space. Also, is it not abusive if it was the other way around and she was going in for chest surgery? Wouldn't it be abusive to just leave your partner right before they have a massive surgery?
She had a massive surgery at the same time. She delivered twins. Her surgery is probably more massive than his.
Well, that's not a surgery.
Bro, there's a lot of shit that goes on with your body when you're popping out two motherfuckers.
It wasn't at the same time. Her surgery was about a month or two after. I'm sorry, her giving birth was about a month or two after. The reason he couldn't be there was because of complications from his previous chest surgery.
Okay. Also, she had a C-section, but that's not even relevant. Okay, sure. But I'm just saying. So it was technically surgery, but it doesn't matter.
Sure.
She's not obligated to stay with him through surgery if she feels like she's like being ultra stressed and super like abused. Like even if he did have a surgery in a few days, she's not obligated to stay there and endure this. She doesn't have that obligation.
He's not obligated. Let's just say, even if he was frustrated, okay, at her not feeding the dogs the medicine, or her not taking the dogs for a walk, or whatever, she's not obligated to. He's probably stressed about this surgery and he works a high-paying job. She's not responsible to say like, okay, honey, I'll be there for you. You're going in for a major surgery. Even if he was frustrated, which I don't think he was being unreasonable, but even if he was, you don't owe your husband for 9 years that much. You're gonna walk out on him before he has surgery?
We don't know why she's walking out. What if he's been an abusive piece of shit for 2 years leading up to this? That's the issue, right?
But
if he's feeling boxed in, can't he just buy another car?
okay, but you're saying he's abusive based on this clip. Where is the abuse?
I've already told you. I'm not saying that he is abusive. I'm saying that in this clip, he is clearly exhibiting signs of abuse. Now, there's background information that could make me feel a little bit differently about it, but there's no conversation you can ever have with a partner where you're saying things like, you need to rise up and do your wifely duties. You're not worthy of being considered a wife. Why are you smoking cigarettes? Oh my God, it's so bad for you. What is wrong with you? Holy shit!
Leave me alone. It's my first
saying
time.
things like, you have no discipline and respect. You give up so easily. The only way out of this is with discipline and respect. You sound like a guy bossing around a boot camp rather than like a husband. These aren't things that you say to somebody that you love.
Him saying the only way out of this is discipline and respect is actually him saying, I would like to work it out. It doesn't
No,
make
it's
sense
not.
to
Hold on. You got to stop doing this. Saying, I would like to work this out is saying, I would like to work this out. Saying, the only way out of this is discipline and respect is making it so that the entire problem is hers and she's the only person that can fix anything. Can you give me one example in this video, for instance, where Steven Crowder takes responsibility or says that he wants to do something to work towards fixing the relationship?
He's saying to her, like, I'm holding you to a higher standard. That's
what is he doing?
fine
So
to say.
what is he doing to fix the relationship? Like, what suggestions does he make?
Look, it's the mother of his kids. She's walking out on him. He's saying, let's not do this. You give up too easily. Let's work it out. And why shouldn't women have discipline?
Hold on,
women have discipline and respect? Why not?
Wait. If he said that, I might be a little bit warmer towards this, but he didn't say like, oh, let's work it out. He's saying that you need to have more discipline and respect. You give up so easily. I don't love you. When I ask you to do things, you say no. When I ask you to walk the dog, you say no. This is like what he's saying. You're not committed to anything. Are you even committed enough to do those things? Those are the things he's saying. He's made every single fault of the relationship on her in this fight, which seems to be saddling her with quite a bit of responsibility. He does not take any for himself.
Okay, but saying that you don't show, like, saying, if she keeps saying, I love you, Steven, I love you, and he's saying, well, you don't show that love, isn't that a respectful, it's perfectly fine to say that to somebody and say, if you really love me, I'd like you to show your commitment. What is wrong with saying that?
That's a fair statement. I just didn't hear him say that. He said, I don't love you. You've never shown me any love. Do you not understand how that's a way different statement than, I feel like I'm not getting any love from you because I feel like you're not committing to this household like I am. Do you understand how those two...
I'm saying it like a girl would say it. I'm saying it, I'm not saying like a frustrated man. Just because he's frustrated and he's male and he's expressing anger doesn't mean he's abusive. He's not actually saying anything wrong. You're taking issue with the tone of it.
Okay. I am taking issue with the tone of it because the tone is what separates a productive conversation from a non-productive conversation, right?
Tone is fine for somebody whose wife is walking out on him with her unborn children.
That's fine, and we can say the tone is fine, but the tone is abusive. There's a difference between me saying, wife, I think you can contribute more around the house. I think that like we can probably figure out a better like chore schedule versus saying, wife, you're a useless fucking cunt. Now, the primary meat of those messages might be the same, but one is probably abusive, and the other is like, let's work towards something and find a common solution to it.
Yeah, but you always have to exaggerate. He did not call her the C word. He didn't scream
No,
at her.
hold on. I'm
He
sorry.
didn't. I've seen abuse. It's not even close. It's not even close. He kept his temper. He was a little frustrated, and then he said,
He
"Look,
kept his
Hillary,
temper. He
always
literally
give up."
gets up to chase her at the end of the video when she's trying to walk away.
It's leaving him. She said
She has
was
a right to
fleeing.
leave. She can leave. She could do that. She's a human
She
being.
has
She's
a-
3 human beings. All 3 of
She
them have
has
the
a-
right to leave if they want to. Like,
She has a right to no, but it's not just leaving. She has a right to walk out on her husband who's going in for chest surgery when she is 8 months pregnant with his kids. She has a right to just do that. For
bro,
what?
they're her
For
kids
what?
too. Wait, hold on. What is this like? They're his kids. He doesn't have to deliver them. It's not his fucking pregnancy, right?
But they're his kids.
Okay, let's establish this. Does she have a right to take space and leave if she wants to?
If there's a reason to, then yes.
Okay, is it plausible that there's a reason to?
I don't see any evidence for it.
Okay.
And in fact,
Could
I think
we-
it's wrong to do that to your partner. I think
Do
it's
you
wrong
think
to
that,
do that.
based on this video, does it seem like they've probably had multiple fights in the past? Or do you think this is the first one?
Yeah, I think it's likely.
Okay, so they're referencing prior fights. Okay, why don't you at least like vape? Why do you have a fucking cigarette?
Because it's cooler.
It's absolutely not. Okay, Jesus.
Oh,
okay.
come on. A vape is the lamest thing ever.
I can't believe you kids are looping back to smoking cigarettes. I feel like I'm in fucking clown world right now. Okay, at least smoke weed. Jesus. Okay.
Weed is for losers too.
Okay. Is it plausible? I'm not even saying to commit you 100%. Is it plausible that based on the disagreements they've had here, is it plausible that Steven Crowder has been abusive towards Hillary in the past, and that's part of the source of their disagreement? Is that plausible? And I'll say, on the other hand, so you don't get triggered, it's also plausible Hillary is just continually abusive to Steven as well, right? Both of those things are plausible, right?
Here's what I would say. I would say from what I've seen and from the way she's acted, I actually think that I wouldn't place the blame on either side. I think what happened is there's extreme stress. He's going in for surgery. She's giving birth to her first kids, right? She had a miscarriage before, right?
Okay.
So it's extremely tense. I think that she got overwhelmed by the situation and freaked out because of past her psychological issues. I do not intend to just place the blame on her.
Okay.
But I don't see him abusing her.
Okay. What's your family background? How wealthy are your parents? How wealthy are you?
I would say middle class. I was quite poor for a while, and now we're middle class.
Okay.
Catholic.
Okay.
My
I want
parents
to
are
if I
getting
wanted
an
to bet
annulment.
you $250 on more information coming out that would show that Steven Crowder was clearly abusive in the past part of his relationship. If I were to make that bet with you and give you odds, would you take that bet? So let's say I'll do 3-to-1 odds. If I'm right, you pay me $250. If you're right, I'll give you $750. That more information is probably going to be released that shows that Steven Crowder was abusive towards Hillary. Would you take that bet if you had it in front of you? Or are you so...
I'll bet you $5,000.
You would really bet that no more information would come out that would show Steven Crowder would be abusive towards Hillary Crowder?
Well, we'd have to define what abusive meant, but yes, I'd bet you $5,000. But those odds, yeah, absolutely.
And you think that... But you don't think...
I have it.
You don't think that any
I'll
of...
take the 250 bet too.
You don't think that any of the behavior in the video so far, though, rises to the level of abuse?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think he's a frustrated man who's stressed because he's going in for surgery and he sees his wife leaving him and he's trying to continue the conversation. And she's not only that, but she starts calling him. She says, "Your abuse is sick, Steven." That's a line. When you cross that line with your husband, you're breaking the relationship. And he's saying, "Seriously, you're gonna do this to me? And he's getting frustrated. I've seen this happen in real time. And I know you could say I have a bias, but like, I've seen this happen. The man is like, "What? Are you seriously gonna go the legal route? Like, we've been married for 9 years. We saved ourselves."
Hold on, none of
from
that
each
was in
other."
the video. I don't know why you're talking about this now.
Well, I mean, but that is the history of their relationship. They've been married for 9 years.
Sure, but we're drawing in extra stuff from the video. Because if we're going to draw in extras from the video, she also said he's been emotionally abusive for years as well, right?
Yeah, sure. I don't think that's true. I think what she defines as emotional abuse, I think she's oppositional. I think she has psychological problems. I think she was not ready to be married in the way that she committed
How
to
can
being
you
married.
possibly ascertain all of that so quickly?
From her behavior. From her behavior.
But
From her
you-
behavior.
but
I'm sympathetic.
Okay, when you say all the information you're giving, a frustrated man who's stressed and is trying to continue the conversation, all of those things are explaining why somebody might be abusive, right? That's not a free pass. You can be frustrated and try to continue a conversation. That doesn't give you a free pass to do whatever you want, though. That could just be a reason why you end up being abusive.
Well, if he was being abusive, I would say something like, and I wouldn't say he's a frustrated man trying to get his wife to stay with him. I would say, like, he's taking something out on her, that he's obviously lashing out, or he's being manipulative, or he's trying to make her feel bad for something that, I mean, it's only a 3-minute clip, but when you consider the context, I think it's pretty obvious that I feel bad for the guy. He's in this situation. I don't think, when he says I chose wrong, I don't think he chose wrong. I just think his wife has psychological problems that manifested themselves in this extreme moment of tension, and she's wrong to attack him the way she is, but I think it can be resolved. I don't think they were ever married.
What, you don't think that she might be frustrated? You don't have any sympathy for her either? She's about to be a single mom with twins?
I do have sympathy for her. I don't think she was ever married to him. I don't think she understands what marriage is.
How can you possibly know that?
From the actions she's taken. If somebody
hold on, because you're summarizing like 9 years of a relationship, saying they were married 9 years is a long time to be together with somebody for you to say, well, I don't think she knew what she was getting into.
It's not really that long to be married, but yeah, it is a long time to be with somebody.
9 years.
9
how
years
old
is
are?
not a long time to be married.
Yes. How old are these people?
I don't actually know.
Steven Crowder is 35 years old. He's been with his chick since he was 26. That's a long relationship. 9 years?
Well, that's another example, right? Okay, so they were both, I think, virgins, or at least they were celibate before they got married.
Uh-huh.
They were young, and this is another example of why traditional, like, right-wing, like, no hymen, no diamond things, they don't always work out, because if you don't have the experience, then you're just going to enter a relationship, like, it's not always ideal. You might be signing up for something you're not sure you're supposed to sign up for. A marriage is supposed to be commitment until death to this other person, to better them, to help them, and to support them. She walks out on him at his weakest moment.
Do you think that means, does that commit her to
somebody who doesn't understand what's going on?
So is she committed to enduring an infinite amount of abuse from her partner then?
Well, is a man raising his voice emotionally because he's angry abuse?
A man saying things like, I don't love you, you're not earning your place as a wife, you're not committed to anything, getting up to prevent you from leaving, like a discussion, I would say those things are abusive, yeah.
He didn't get up to prevent her from leaving. He got up to continue the conversation because she was walking out.
Okay,
but
hold on. Wait. That is to prevent somebody from leaving, okay?
He let her leave. He let her leave. He didn't raise a hand.
He might, let her leave. But if we're having a conversation, somebody clearly wants to leave, and I stand up and I go and walk in front of them, like, what is the implication? Of course, right? We don't know how long after she leaves.
He let her leave. He didn't raise a hand. There's no history of physical abuse.
I didn't say there was physical abuse. I'm just saying at the very least, he's being physically intimidating to prevent her from leaving, of course. What, chasing somebody into... She was physically intimidating? Is that what you're going to say? Was she about to swing that big baby belly right into his face and fuck him up? Is that...
She was physically aggressive during that conversation. She was standing. She moved closer towards him. He was sitting down, relaxed. And then she walked right past him towards the door.
No,
she walked
hold
right
on.
past
This
him.
is... First of all,
wait.
Firstly, he was not relaxed. That is not true, okay? Just because he was sitting down does not mean he was relaxed. He was leaning forward. He was very aggressive the entire conversation. Number one. Number two, okay, Crowder's a pretty big boy. Looks like a 6-foot dude. She's, okay, literally a fucking submarine right now for 2 other mini human beings, okay? I don't think that she was ever physically intimidated. Standing and walking around like kind of confused and anxious and avoidant, Okay,
maybe not intimidating, but aggressive. There are ways to be a physically aggressive without, like, not.
I agree. There are lots of ways. There are lots of ways to be physically aggressive. I agree, but her body language and the way that she seems to approach conflict is to be avoidant. She was not being physically aggressive. It seemed like she was being avoidant.
Well, but I want to get you on one thing. Okay, so you agree the things.
Okay,
so the things he said, right? You agree that they could be said in a way that is positive, but your issue is with his tone. Is that right?
Kind of, yeah. But tone can determine whether literally a message is incredibly positive or incredibly abusive. If my son comes home from school and I'm like,
true.
It is absolutely true. My son comes home from school and I'm like, Nathan, you didn't do well on that math test. Like, you can do better on the next one. Versus him coming home and saying, Nathan, you're mathematically fucking retarded. Figure your shit out. One of those things is abusive. One of those things is totally fine, even though they're essentially saying the same thing. What do you even know?
Not abusive? How is that abusive?
If I call you an ugly bitch, is that abusive?
I mean, if you think it's true, it depends on the truth. It doesn't depend on the tone. You can say the same thing.
Wait, so
and be
things that are
super angry
true
or
can never
super
be
sad.
abusive?
Well, that's not. If you're saying something just to be mean, like if you call a fat girl like you're a fatty, I mean, it might be true that she's fat, but it's abusive. But you're saying the tone. What tone was he taking? He didn't even.
He was
scream.
taking he was
he
taking a
didn't scream.
derisive tone. You don't have to scream. I don't know why you think you have to
Okay,
scream
okay.
to be abusive.
So he was frustrated. He took a frustrated, angry tone.
I think he was
right?
frustrated. Yeah, that's probably why he was abusive, because he was frustrated and stressed out. Yeah.
Well, by your own criteria, you've been abusive to me during this conversation. Do you think you've been abusive?
I am abusive. The difference is that the type of relationship that we have is quite a bit different, number one. And number two, I'm not personally attacking you. Like, I don't think that I've been abusive towards you. I'm just disagreeing, right? If Steven Crowder and him were having if Steven Crowder and Hillary were having a conversation, a passionate conversation about a difference in politics or their view of like the news or media or whatever, that'd be one thing, but they're not. It's a very personal conversation, right? Like, let's say, so I brought up the smoking thing and I was like, oh, smoking's disgusting. Don't do that. If I were to be like, you're a worthless fucking bitch. Why are you smoking, you disgusting fucking animal? What the fuck is wrong with you? Your teeth are gonna rot, you disgusting, right? That would be like abusive. Right? There's a
I like
difference.
that. Keep going.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm sure you do. Okay, sounds like you got a history of it. Okay, listen. All right, tone can make a otherwise normal statement rise to the level of abuse. Do you not agree with that? Or what in your mind? Because earlier it seems like you said using a person in a way that isn't respectful to the other person, treating them poorly, misusing the person. I feel like all of those things can be accomplished through tone.
That's okay. First of all, so you said it was tone, but you also say it's the content. Okay, first of all, he didn't say anything. He didn't call her names at all.
He said, "I don't love you."
That's not calling somebody names. That's you can say that. You can say I don't love you. He immediately followed it up. He immediately followed it up with saying, "You've never shown me love," right?
Sure.
Okay, so obviously he's saying like I think what he's saying is you use love as this way of just shutting me down, like, hey, I love you, and he's saying, well, then I don't love you. Let's just go all the way, because fuck you for constantly using that against me to say like, I love you, I promise I love you. Then he says, you never show me love, okay? But secondly, so the content of what he was saying was not abusive. He didn't call her names. He asked her to be a better person. Is that abuse?
Okay, this perhaps is the impasse. We're at an impasse, okay? He asked her to be a better person?
Yeah. He said, be worthy. He's not saying you fucking
Be
suck as a
worthy
wife.
of being a
He's
wife.
saying,
Be worthy of being called a
worthy.
wife. You think that's asking somebody to be a better person?
But if somebody, if
You're not
your
committed to
employer
anything.
says,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, but if your employer says like you signed up for this job and you're not following through, I need you to show me that you want to, like, it's not making sense. Is that abusive?
No,
Or are
what you just
like,
said there
actually
sounds a
showing
lot
that-
better than you're not worthy of being an employee. You're not worthy. Why don't you do something worthy of being called an employee? That's different than like you can put in more work and you can do different things or whatever, right? What if your dad said to you something like the difference between like, hey, I think you can do better versus like, why don't you be worthy of being my daughter? Like, do you not see the difference between those two statements? It's like,
All right, this is where the bias is gonna come in, because he has said that to me. Well, he hasn't said that, but he said like, you know, you should do a lot better, and he says it forcefully, and I appreciate it because it makes me a better person, and any good woman appreciates that.
okay, you should.
Any good person appreciates somebody respecting them enough to ask them to do better instead of just kowtowing because what, they're pregnant, oh, they're a woman. Give me a break. Women are people. It's just sexism if you say, oh, you shouldn't be mean to a pregnant woman. Perfectly rational.
Listen, I agree to some extent. Fuck pregnant women. You should be mean to them, okay? But that doesn't make it not abuse, okay?
Is it abusive for my dad to ask me to be a better person?
It depends on how he says it.
Okay, what if he says, you did a shitty job on that. Do better next time. Is that abuse?
That's okay. But if he says like you're not
Steven
worthy,
Crowder! Steven Crowder didn't say anything worse than that.
he said you're not worthy. Be worthy of being a wife, implying she's not even worth being his wife. That's a markedly different statement. I don't love you.
Be worthy of being called a wife.